King and rook are also able to mate a lone king. Again, to mate the black king, you should push it to the edge of the board. It can be driven to the first or to the 8th rank or to the A or H files. Mate. This is a key position. Look at the arrangement of the kings. The kings stand on the same line, with one square between them. As chess players say, the white king is in opposition to the black king. The opposition is necessary when mating a lone king with king and rook. This is the only exception when it is possible to mate without the opposition. The black king cannot escape from the mating net, as its movement is restricted by the edge of the board. Unlike the queen, one rook cannot push the opponent's king to the edge of the board on its own. Let's say the black king is already cut off by the 7th rank, while the white king is still far away. How to mate? It is necessary to move the white king towards the black king and take the opposition. Until you set up the opposition, checks and other moves with the rook make no sense. 1. King e2, king d8. 2. King d3, king c8. 3. King c4, king b8. The white rook is attacked. Move it further from the black king, keeping control over the 7th rank. 4. Rook h7, king c8. 5. King d5, king d8. Now the straightforward. 6. King d6 fails due to king e8. 7. King e6, king d8. 6. King e6. The white king is in the knight opposition and does not let the black king move towards the white rook because of 6. King e8. 7. Rook h8, mate. 6. King c8. 7. King d6. Now black would be glad to skip his move, as any move worsens his position. Such a situation is called zugzwang. 7. King b8. 8. King c6, king a8. 9. King b6, king b8. 10. Rook h8, mate. Without zugzwang, mating with king and rook is impossible. Let's now see how we can push the black king towards the edge of the board. To do this, we make the following steps. Cut off the king from the rest of the board along a rank or file. Knight opposition, zugzwang, opposition, pushing check with the rook, which turns into mate at the edge of the board. Let's decide where to push the black king. Let it be the H file. 1. Rook e4. The rook cuts off the black king by the E file. King f6. 2. Rook e1, king f5. 3. King d4. White takes the knight opposition. 3. King f6. 4. King d5. Black is in zugzwang. 4. King f7. 5. King d6, king f8. 6. King d7, king f7. 7. Rook f1. The rook check pushes the black king aside. 7. King g6. 8. King e6, king g5. 9. King e5, king g4. 10. King e4, king g3. 11. King e3, king g2. 12. Rook f8, king g1. 13. King e2, king g2. 14. Rook g8, king h3. 15. King f2, king h4. 16. King f3, king h5. 17. King f4, king h6. 18. King f5, king h7. 19. Rook g1, king h6. 20. Rook g2, zugzwang, king h7. 21. King f6, king h8. 22. King f7, king h7. 23. Rook h2, mate. This general method of mating is reliable. However, a subtlety on the sixth move allows mating much faster. 1. Rook e7. White changes his plan just in time. He decides to stop pushing the black king to the h-file and immediately cuts it off by the 7th rank. King g8. 2. King e6. King f8. 3. King f6. King g8. 4. Rook a7. King h8. 5. King g6. King g8. 6. Rook a8, mate.